Namaste. This evening in India here and morning in some other parts of the world. In this webinar, we have a very interesting theme, space, time and causation with regard to the reality, Brahman. Everybody appreciates that Brahman is way above all this. People are able to sort of figure out that space, time and causation are in Brahman. The ultimate reality is the substrate for everything. But the problem arises with a lot of Vedanta students when it comes to their understanding of this ignorance or nescience or avidya or ajnana. Let's use the word avidya. Every Vedanta student grapples with this issue. When exactly did this avidya arise? Which implies they have taken the axis of time as unquestionably true. There is time, beginningless and endless, and somewhere at point T1, avidya arose, is their imagination. Very wrong, very incorrect. Likewise, some people may wonder, where exactly did this avidya arise? They presuppose that there is space and avidya is some phenomenon that comes and catches hold of this whoever and the jiva is created. Once more, it is childish to think so. Lastly, before we open up the right understanding, there are people who are so wedded to causation. Why did avidya arise? What made avidya arise? What made this error to take place? So causation. So A being the cause, B being the effect, X being the cause, Y being the effect, the seed being the cause, the tree being the effect, or the tree being the cause and the seed coming out of it. Chicken first and hen later, egg later, or egg first and chicken later. In millions of ways, you and I, being so engrossed with the way this phenomenal world operates, imagine that avidya is also a phenomenon on the axis of time, in the medium of space, and subject to the causation. It is not so. Let me first take up the issue of time. Swami Chinmayanandaji, in his own characteristic way, labored to show that avidya is not after time, rather time in his language is after avidya. He used to narrate a humorous story. A grandfather and his granddaughter, 8-year-old perhaps, were very good friends. They used to spend a lot of time together playing with each other. But one morning, the grandfather was in for a shock. Why? The grandfather showed to his 8-year-old granddaughter his marriage album, and very proudly, very happily, expecting the granddaughter to thoroughly enjoy it, showed those pictures where the grandfather and the child's grandmother were together, were putting garland on each other and so on. Rather than being happy, the granddaughter jumped out of the lap of the grandfather and angrily said, "Grandpa, we are no more friends." This is how Swami Chinmayananda narrated. The grandpa was surprised. What went wrong? Now the granddaughter says, "Why didn't you take me to this wedding?" So in this humorous story, as Swamiji would convey, it is impossible for the granddaughter to attend the grandfather's wedding. For the granddaughter came much later. Likewise, in a manner of saying, don't take this too literally, in the hierarchy, Swami Chinmayananji, while talking on Atma Bodha, said this, that there is avidya, there is then thought or mind, then there is time. So time is as though avidya's grandchild. Avidya is not something internal or coming later or coming on a lower level of the hierarchy with respect to time. So while this shows that we need to have a second look, we need to have a totally different way of seeing the teaching of the Advaita Vedānta, I must hasten to add that we are in no way making avidya as something existing as bhava rupa, as the technical word goes, and we will take it up in another webinar in great detail. I would rather at this point say avidya is not some substance or not something staying somewhere like in some fables, in some good old stories, the prana of a rakshasa is across 7 seas in some bird sitting upon a tree, and this rakshasa, this demon, is working havoc here. No one can kill him. Then finally a valiant brave prince crosses the 7 seas, goes to that forest, climbs up that tree, and drives away or kills certain serpents around there, catches hold of that bird and strangles that bird. When that bird is strangled, the prana of that bird is finished. That is when this Rakshasa here in our country gets killed. All that is good entertainment, but alas, we are not to make avidya into something down there, somewhere in deep sleep, somewhere hiding, and we need to eliminate it. No, the concept or the teaching of error, adhyāsa, error is explained in this manner. There is an error in seeing right now, here. And if this error is eliminated, it's finished. One doesn't have to cross the 7 seas. One doesn't have to do something which will sort out dream, deep sleep, etc., etc. Right here, we are the pramata, the knower in the waking world. There is an error in seeing. We see duality. We see as part of that duality or plurality, nanatva, as part of that, we are seeing time, we are seeing space, we are seeing causation. So friends, let me sum it up in one sentence. Time, space, and causation are part of the superimposition, and there has to be right understanding, samyak darshana, or the right bodha facilitated by the Upanishadic statements, facilitated by Agama, by Shruti Upadesha, Acharya Upadesha. When right understanding is facilitated, lock, stock and barrel, in its entirety, I mean, space, time and causation disappear. The sense of reality about them simply goes away. Unfortunately, the old habit of subjecting even avidya to the framework of space and time seems to persist. If the granddaughter refuses to listen to the grandfather and says, "Don't give me all those excuses. You did not take me to your wedding, no matter when it was. I can never forgive you for that." And so the granddaughter is, in her persistence, being very childish. She is a child after all. We, the Vedanta students, clinging on to an undue sense of reality about this manifest world. There again, we are unduly attached to this Jagrat Pramata, that is, the knower vis-a-vis things known. See, Pramata means the knower. Prameya is what is known. So here is a Jagrat Pramata, and we are so much obsessed with this identity. I am this Jagrat Pramata, to such an extent that we put dream on a second notch. And we wonder, I went to dream, I came back. I went to deep sleep, I came back. As though this I in the waking state is the great grand reference. To make a quick diversion, I would say, no wonder Sri Ramana Maharshi frequently asked us, find out who you are. When you and I argue, see, for a few hours I was awake, then for a few hours I was asleep, and maybe in that few hours, for a few minutes I was deep asleep, then I came back, etc. We argue. Maharshi Ramana would say, very much in line with Shankara, I would imagine, that this I, which is proposing that I went to dream, I went to deep sleep, I came back, has an undue sense of reality about this I which is going and coming. While the Upanishads say, the real I that you are goes nowhere, comes back from nowhere. There is no gati, no agati. No going, no coming back. Next time you are at a railway station, agamana, prasthana. You are at an airport, arrival and departure. Being a Vedanta student, smile once. Yes, in the phenomenal world there is agaman and prasthan, agamana and nirgamana, arrival and departure. The truth of my existence knows not arrival or departure. Smile to yourself. Don't tell that to the security guard who asks you to show your identity or the e-ticket. There don't say, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not coming from anywhere. That will jeopardize everything. So the truth of Vedanta, the truth, supersedes the phenomenal truth, if you want to call it a truth, and one needs to know this. The Upanishads are never tired of saying Brahman and Brahman alone is everything. In the mantra we attached to the synopsis that went to all of you when this webinar was announced and you were invited. It said, the mantra said, Yasmin Bhyav Pratisha Antariksham Otam Manasaha Pranaischa Sarvai. Brahman, your true nature, my true nature, all of us are one, that one truth alone. This true nature is such, the heaven, the earth, the interspace, the mind, the pranas, all of them are interwoven. Brahman is the substrate for it. In fact, the same Mundaka Upanishad in another place says, Brahmaivedam Amritam Purastad. Brahman alone is in front of us. Paschat, Brahma Paschat. Behind to Brahma Dakshinataha. Cha Uttarena. To the right, to the left, to the south, to the north. Adascha Urdhvam. Below, above. It is Brahman. Brahmaivedam Vishwam Idam Varishtam. Brahma alone is, and Brahma alone is everything. And an error in seeing makes us believe that space, time, and causation are primary, and this avidya, and then one getting liberated, etc., are like a phenomenon. A bud opening and becoming a flower is a phenomenon. It takes place in time. You can sit with a clock and say, okay, I have been sitting from morning 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. this was a bud, and at about 7:45 it opened. I have been recording, and by evening 6 p.m. it faded away and fell down. So T1, T2, T3, T4, something that happens on the axis of time is a phenomenon. And along with time goes space. I believe Einstein called space and time a continuum. X, Y, Z and T are not two compartments. X, Y, Z, one compartment, and T, the time, another compartment. In a great, insightful statement, he said, X, Y, Z and T are one continuum. Maybe we should take it up in another seminar or webinar. I need to prepare a little for it. I have a little grasp of it at this moment. But talking of Einstein, I must share with you how when Max Planck proposed the quantum physics, among the great scientists of that time, even Albert Einstein had a difficulty with this quantum physics. He was great in his own way, in several ways. But when it came to quantum physics, he said, I can't believe this. I don't think this is true. I have a hard time accepting this. When I think of people having difficulty with Advaita, and some of them mighty scholars, some of them mighty intellectuals, I think of Albert Einstein having difficulty with quantum physics. And if I got it right, before he died, he accepted it all. So if we study with proper teachers, if we study with competent Advaitins, then what we at one time would have regarded as impossible, I can't accept it, this seems to be illogical, will come out as, oh, this is how Adi Shankara called that there is no causation. This is the teaching of Vivartavada. Unfortunately, language and our logic, all of them fail to express it, because the language that you and I use has been developed to describe phenomena. The rope appears as the snake. So when anybody imagines rope appearing as the snake, one thinks of a rope spread in space, and one thinks of a snake which also is spread in space, and one thinks of a point of time where the appearance of snake causes fear in the onlooker, and a point of time where, because somebody threw a beam of light at that, the snake disappeared and the rope came to light. So this whole imagination, or the description of it, the explanation, alas, whether you like it or not, take recourse to language which is entrenched in space, time, and causation. But luckily for us, if you and I are receptive, if you and I are attentive, if you and I, putting aside all our bias, please listen to an Advaita teacher carefully. Luckily for us, in spite of the limitations of this language, a teacher can put across what is not a phenomenon. For example, a teacher can say here, in the example or in the analogy, the rope, the snake, etc. are in space, in time, and the ending of that illusion is in time. But look, can you appreciate an error as a part of which there is time? Error, adhyāsa, doesn't follow the rising of time. Rather, time, in a manner of saying, follows adhyāsa. So think of a rainbow. Where there are water droplets, there is the perception, the wrong perception, erroneous perception of the rainbow. And when one understands that there is no rainbow that you can go and hold, you can pull or push, it is just water droplets there, then there is a leap in your understanding. Likewise, Adi Shankara's Vivartavada, not Parinamavada of Sri Ramanujacharya, where, with my limited knowledge of the Vishishtadvaita, I must say, apparently Brahma actually becomes this universe, while at the same time continues to be the ruler. So, in Shankara's Vivarta, nothing happens to Brahman at all. Vivarta, Viparitam Vartate, or actually Viparitam Drishyate, and that duality, what is seen and the seer, Pramata, not the substrate seer, not the substrate, who is the ultimate seer. Nahi drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopo vidyate, says Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There is a seeing principle which never ceases to see. Drashtuhu viparilopaha na vidyate. That chit, that jnanam in Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that is not part of this superimposition. In the superimposition, the divided seer, the seer as different from the seen, that is what we called before Jagrat Pramata, the seer, the knower of the waking world. So this Jagrat Pramata and Jagrat Prameya, and to go with it, the Jagrat Kala, Jagrat Desha, Jagrat Karya Karana Vyavastha, this whole gamut is an appearance of what is not divided, what is not subject to time, what is not anywhere in any location, what is not subject to causation. In that sense, Chandogya Upanishad would say, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Kathopanishad would say, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Chandogya again would say, Tajjalaniti Shanta Upasita. In this Brahma, Ja Jayate, La Liyate, An Praniti Aniti. This phenomenal universe appears. For heaven's sake, don't take this appears as an event on the axis of time at point t1, and when enlightenment takes place, point t2 disappears. For heaven's sake, enlightenment is not a phenomenon, bondage is not a phenomenon, none of these is a phenomenon. All this is an appearance, and internal to this appearance, perhaps I can say like that, are space, time, causation. Oh, please feel free to ask any question or make any comment. Namaste. Let me see. Okay.
Hand raise and question.
Somebody has raised a hand.
No, Swamiji, no hand raise, no questions, no text questions also.
But against Ranjan Desai, there is an exclamation sign here.
That shows that he is not active, not attentive.
Oh.
Yeah. They are not attentive.
Okay, okay. Okay, there is a question from Ranjan Desai now. Now mic is on. Okay, Ranjan, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Swamiji. I'm very much attentive. I just wanted to say that I'm hearing you from the phone, so maybe that's why it's coming up like that. So it's very much the webinar was very good. I really enjoyed it, listening to it, and it's got a very deep meaning, and I need to do some more thinking about what all you have said today, and it's very much that's why I don't have any questions right now. I'll be reading more on it, and then I'll be asking later on.
Certainly, nobody needs to ask for the sake of asking. If you have a doubt, please do feel. Thank you, Ranjan. Then we have, there is one more hand here, Naveen. I think you have to unmute yourself. I am unable to unmute your mic. Naveen Rao, yeah, now it's unmuted. Yes, Naveen, welcome. I think you are attending the webinar for the first time.
Yeah, thank you, Swamiji. It's a very, very interesting topic. But the question comes is, why does Brahman do all this? If it's all appearances, why this play, if I call it play, goes on? And what's
See,
the purpose? And also, other thing is, what is the purpose for this appearance? Like, if I'm an appearance and you're an appearance, what are we supposed to do? Just recognize that it's a play?
See, on a lower level, that is what people who give discourses say. It is a leela, it is a play, it is a sport. But if you go about it with the rigor of a physicist, with a scientific point of view, I think even the question, what is the purpose, will not hold water, because really nothing has happened. Nothing has happened actually. That's the significance of Bhagavan Maharshi asking you, doubt the doubter. Who is asking the question? And the questioner, is like a software which can be debugged.
Okay.
So see, if Brahma really has become all this, then you can ask what is the purpose. Brahma has not become. And if you and I see it in this way, then therefore the study the Upanishads or do the self-inquiry, then you find one by one things disappearing or collapsing like a house of cards. So the word illusion or the word appearance are not to be taken either negatively or positively. It's like science. In science, certain appearances are pretty to our eyes, like the rainbow. And certain appearances somewhere, like Swami Chinmayananji used to humorously say, the ghost that appears upon a post, a signpost, looks like a ghost. So the ghost on the post is scary. The rainbow on water drops is pretty. But really, there is neither rainbow nor the ghost. So Maharshi Ramana has a very fine example of someone who saw all this in recent times. Not even 100 years since he dropped his body. In his talks, in his dialogues, you find testimony to this Advaita. When people asked him, isn't this world real? He says, okay, who is seeing the world? Is the seer real? He would ask. So I don't mean to pour cold water on the enthusiastic question. I think, let me put it this way, on a certain level, to take it as a leela, to take it as a sport, and even the sad part of it, the tragic part of it is in some manner, that gives certain satisfaction. Sri Ramakrishna would say, Divine Mother plays with us the Ank Michauli, the putting a blindfold upon the eyes of the child. While the mother is just around, the child after some time imagines that the mother has left the child, totally deserted him, and the child cries inconsolably. Mother comes running and hugs the child and says, oh, come on, why would I would not leave you like this? I just was playing with you. So the mother removes the blindfold. So that's how Sri Ramakrishna described the suffering, the agony, the torture, all the trauma that we find in life. It's like the agony of the child who thought that the mother is away. Elsewhere, Leela is in a happy sense. But the Advaita Vedānta, at the height of its revelation, dismisses all this. It's neither a sport nor a Leela or anything, because there's nothing has happened. Double check. Nothing has happened. So this nothing has happened, if you want a technical word, is the Ajatavada of Mandukya Karikas. Jata means the universe is born. Ajata means the universe never was born. If you see, check your vision, check your perception, check your outlook. So, It may be too much to, you may say it's too far-fetched. But if you have patience, we can walk further and sort out things.
Okay.
We'll take it up again another time. Let's see whether a third and last question maybe. Okay, Prasad Vepa. Yeah, your mic is on already.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Prasad ji.
Very fascinating and thought-provoking talk as always. So the answer that you have given to the previous scholars' question of why is there creation is what creation? That is the answer. So can you comment a little bit on the Shankara Mahavakya, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, and so is Mithya the same as projection, what you describe as a projection?
Okay, first of all, in all the 30 years or so for which I have been studying Vedanta, I am yet to come across that statement Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya in any of Shankara's Bhashyas. I don't know where it is, but it is ascribed to him in popular literature. And
Right.
yes, he has said to that effect. But that particular statement, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, seems to be somebody's rephrasing in some Prakarana Grantha or somewhere. But now coming to your question, what is meant by Mithya? Mithya is a mere appearance which upon examination is found to be non-existent. So Mithya is neither something that is not seen at all, nor something that is real. It is in between. If something is real, it will never go. If something is never seen, you don't have a problem at all. Something that is seen, but upon examination disappears, is Mithya. So this Jagat is Mithya, Brahma alone is Satya. So for those who have questioned, like you, as part of your question mentioned, when somebody asks, how did this creation come about? The seer, the Rishi says, what creation, which creation? So the Rishi, the one who answers like that, has examined and has through insight, not through a physical or chemical process, but through jnana, through darshana, through right seeing, has made the whole creation go away. He has dismissed it. So to complete it with one analogy from or reference to Ramana Maharshi, in a certain context, he would not speak this out of context in the wrong place, but to certain mature visitors who had come to him, even about the World War II that was going on, he said, yes, that also is like a cinema show. The screen alone is real. This is not to be quoted out of context, making Maharshi Ramana as though an insensitive person lacking in compassion, etc. No. This is, just as you and I, when we study science, in some physics class, we may say the carbon in pencil and carbon in diamond have some similarity. It has to be understood in a proper context. One cannot trade diamonds for pencils or pencils for diamonds. I hope I touched upon your question.
Yeah, so it seems like if an individual error is or adhyāsa is an individual's misperception, and the individual's mithya, so the collective error would be the collective mithya of the universe.
I think I'll not touch on that now. I myself am examining certain terms, to be frank. In fact, of late, my studies have taken me to a second look at words like Maya and so on. So at this moment, I would avoid touching upon this collective and individual. At this moment, let me just stay put with the error and its dismissal without going into the individual and collective stuff. Maybe very soon I'll take it up in another webinar.
Just speculating. We can, yeah, whenever we're ready to talk about it, we can talk. Thank you, Swamiji.
All right, thank you. All right, so as you made out, my voice also is a little down, though I could manage luckily. I think that's about it. So, thank you all, and see you again probably next Sunday with a better throat. I will be meeting you. Namaste.
Pranam Swamiji.
Hari Om.